Welcome to another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line. I'm Frank Walker, Vice President of Governmental Affairs here at the Florida Chamber of Commerce, and joining us today is House Ways and Means Chairman from Bradenton, Representative Jim Boyd. Welcome to the program, Representative Boyd.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate being here.
Let's dive right in. Wanted to talk about taxes, specifically tax reform. As the Chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, you led a very aggressive pro-growth tax reform package off the House floor earlier this week. Tell our viewers what's in it and what's good for business.
Thank you. Yeah, this is, I think, historic tax cuts for Florida, so I'm pretty excited about that in the big picture when we factor in the additional homestead exemption, the rollback of the RLE, and then our tax package. What we're trying to do is focus on families and businesses in our tax package. So we've got, the traditional back-to-school sales tax holiday we're looking at. We've got some veterans tax holidays. We've got in the business side R&D, hopefully some brownfields cleanup, and a variety of other things that were important to business and families. One of the things that is very important to me is the business rent tax, and that was a big component of our package as well. So that was what we passed off the floor, and as you know, now we go into conference with our Senate partners and try to decide what is going to be the end product. And we're in the middle of that as we speak today.
And I did want to ask you about that because allocations came down yesterday afternoon, which means that the budget negotiations start in earnest, and part and parcel of that is the tax package. Where do things stand? How's the House position look compared to the Senate position, given the pot of money that is available to work with?
Yeah, unfortunately, the pot is not as large as the House had hoped, so we're navigating through that. I have had great meetings with my counterpart in the Senate, Senator Stargel. The good news is we share a lot of the same goals. One of her priorities, I believe, was the business rent tax as well, and that was at the top of my agenda. So that was encouraging to hear and to find that she still wants to maintain that. So even though we've had some reductions in our allocations, I'm optimistic that will be one in some form that we'll be able to preserve. Again, I don't want to presume anything at this moment because we're kind of right in the middle of those negotiations, but we had a great meeting last night on our components, and a lot of the components we share, and we should be hopefully ironing a lot of those out today.
Well, we appreciate your leadership on the business rent tax. As you know, that's a Florida-only tax that really stifles Florida's competitiveness compared to its neighboring states and for businesses around the country, and also your leadership on R&D. Those are high-paying jobs that we want to attract to our state as we grow our innovation economy. So thank you for prioritizing that.
Thank you. I think our package is simply a kind of a split between families and individuals and homeowners and businesses, and both are important to Florida. The more we can eliminate burdens on businesses, the more they'll be able to expand and employ, and the more we can eliminate burdens on families, the more they'll be able to have money to spend for the things that are important to them. So I'm excited about our end product, although it's not going to be quite as aggressive as we'd hoped. It's still going to be a very good package.
Well, you work within the parameters that you're given. Do want to switch gears a little bit to talk about workers' compensation reform. As you know, the Chamber of Commerce led a workers' compensation task force chaired by Steve Knopick and Debbie Harvey from Bells and Ron John Surf Shop in response to the Castellanos case that came down from the Supreme Court last May. Comp reform is a big, big deal for the business community. It's a huge cost driver. Can you tell us where we stand in moving the House bill, which was a great bill that the Chamber and the business community got behind and supported, towards the governor's desk?
Yeah, and thank you, by the way, for your leadership and the Chamber's support and interaction on the process. It was very important as other businesses around the state weighed in as well. It made a big difference in legislators' minds. Chair Burgess, I think, put together and put forth, and we passed through the House, a very good work comp package that touches the need for the Castellanos decision, but also focuses on employees and employers and keeping the rates competitive. I'm optimistic that the Senate is open to our suggestions. There's some mitigating circumstances that we all know about that is influencing a little bit of the Senate's decisions on this. But Senator Bradley is a very good guy, and he's business-minded, and we've had some good conversations with him. So I know that's coming up the first of the week for them. So I'm hopeful that we can encourage him to move more toward the House position, which I think is a very good bill. Along those lines, I would encourage you and your members to certainly reach out to our senators over the weekend or at the latest very early Monday to express their their like and desire to get something very close to the House package, because I think that's what will be good for businesses in Florida.
Absolutely. Well, you know we'll be doing it. Our members are very passionate about this issue and very engaged, so we'll be making those calls and sending those emails as we have been for the past several weeks. So one last question, kind of a free one here at the end, but what's the prediction for Sine Die? Do we get done by day 60? And what's your magic hour that we actually get to ride out of here?
6:45 Friday night.
Okay, you heard it here first. Thank you very much, Chairman Boyd. I think that's all the time we have today, but to our viewers, thank you for joining us for another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line.